to your headphones.
Okay, try talking now.
Hello, hello.
There you go.
Okay, guys, we are. And rewind. We're back live with Hxro Labs, the production new team. Here, let's go, guys. Okay, so quick restart. Nick, how are you?
Doing really well. Glad we could sort all that crap out.
Yeah, we had it working perfectly pre-stream, and the link from us to the stream cut Nick off. But it sounds like we got the full workaround now, and we'll have a much smoother one next time. So let's talk Twitter. You were sharing some tidbits about how you think this might have happened.
Yeah, like it looks like it was not Twitter itself. It was or the accounts have been hacked themselves. It looks like someone accessed the APIs of a third party, so similar to like TweetDeck, for example. And whoever had permissions granted to those apps, they've accessed your accounts through there.
Jeez. And I just saw somebody say that they got Elon.
They got Elon, it looks like, here too.
Wow.
It's pretty low effort so far. Like we can monitor this address from Elon Musk here, and it's already received 2.4 thousand retweets. So a huge network effect.
Oh my god, it's kind of wild. I don't know, you know.
I've never seen a coordinated attack like this before. This is first. Elon Musk has already received 1.58 BTC. He's rich.
Like all the hackers' address, right? But allegedly, it's.
This is the hacker's address, yes.
Yeah, and is it loading up? Is it they have a different address for each hack?
I think so.
Or is it just this one mega?
Yeah, no, yeah. They're different addresses because the other ones received 4.
It's impressive. I mean, there's always going to be some new creative thing, right? We had the what was that one earlier? Like it was like a script, a smart contract that was basically just writing itself loans. And just they got some crazy amount out earlier this year. I mean, there's just these creative ways to funnel money out of.
Yeah, it's the thing with new technology, right?
Yeah.
Like a 0-day exploit could be launched at any time, and what we see happening in the DeFi space, it's just a self-perpetuating thing with a network effect attached to it and feedback loops. More people get excited because they're making money. More people come in. The honeypot grows. Eventually, some hacker, if they have access to that 0-day. That's when they're going to be opportunistic. They're not just going to deploy those things as soon as the contract launches. But we've seen plenty of white hat, black hat hackers in that space, and we're going to continue to see that. Like all this technology is basically in beta or alpha.
Yeah. Yep. And I mean, I want to know. I'd be curious to know who's sending this. Like these are not 0.05. I mean, people with multiple Bitcoin are sending some amount. It blows my mind.
Yeah, I think that just goes to speak, reputation and social credit goes a long way. I think there's even who's launching that now? AP Lend or something, RL Lend. They're doing uncollateralized loans just based on your social credit and your reputation in the space, which I think it's pretty cool. It's like the equivalency of like tokenizing yourself.
So I mean. And as you say, as the new vulnerabilities come along, there's going to be the new fixes, and it's just going to have to evolve that way, which I think is, speaks to the let's zoom out to 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. People want to see this adoption. It's not going to be fast, and good luck, ever getting our parents to be using this stuff regularly. I think.
Yeah, I think there needs to be an app that completely takes the complex technology aspect out of it and is replaced with modern convenience. As simple as a debit card, processes that people are already familiar with and don't require a lot of new training for.
Yeah, and frankly, I don't think that we are going to. Oh, it's like, oh, you're back. Lost your picture there for a second. Oh dear. No. Yeah. All right. What was that? Is that Rendezvous? All right. Wirecast Rendezvous is playing games with us today, guys. And if that hurt your ears, I apologize deeply. We'll have this all sorted out. I mean, it's really day one of a long journey together with Hxro Labs. And will Trump's account follow? Yeah, could you imagine if they get Donald Trump? Please. Oh, we lost your audio, Nick. I'm not seeing it. Oh, Jesus. Oh. Yeah, it's rendezvous. I hear you clear as day, but it's not getting through to the stream. This is not ideal. Okay. Well, I don't know what happened there because we were fine. Okay. No. It's not reading your audio for some reason. So. All right, well. Well, we got my screen on here. See if you can try a reconnect, disconnect. I'm going to talk a little bit about Bitcoin. Do have a few things I want to touch on. For those who are sticking around, I appreciate you guys. We may have to just run this back for Friday with a little dress rehearsal. Because right now we are having some issues with Nick's audio, as you guys are no doubt aware. So when you think you got to fix Nick, let me know and I'll flip back over to you. For now, let's have a look over at Bitcoin, which really hasn't moved. And we've got lots of these long little wicks getting bought up, lots of these little wicks getting sold off. You know, it really looks like it's being held here fairly intentionally, I want to say, or there's just a certain equilibrium in the market. And until we have sort of a reason for that to change, you know, why move from here? If you're a crypto enthusiast right now, chances are if you're trading, if you're excited in the market, it's about altcoins. And so in the meantime, you know, and that's often what will happen. You get these consolidations and then, you know, just a lack of interest right now in trading Bitcoin. And so everybody's looking the other way. And that doesn't mean it has to happen today, tomorrow, or next week. But while you're looking the other way is obviously when you get these moves. And so I'll show you what I got here for the range. And that is really, yeah. So, here we go. So I put this range together earlier today on the hourly. And I want to just share that with you. It's kind of what I'm watching. You can see my alerts here anyways. And I think anything within this range is probably going to be fine ultimately for altcoins. I don't really see them shaking out. So let's put a green for the range low. I like to remind myself that range low is typically a place to be buying. So I put it as green. Range high is typically a place I should be thinking about shorting or selling if I'm trying to range trade. Then we'll get this nice EQ right up the middle here. And just double back to YouTube. Yeah. So we got the range EQ. It's sort of where price will gravitate to during a range. Or at least it's another level you can watch. So with this range EQ, you can see we're just trading just below it. We're really just chopping through it back and forth, back and forth. Very, very much undecided. The VPVR, as it often does, is beginning to form a parabola. And when that completes, and we get a really nice clean, let's see, because ultimately that is the question. If I had one answer that I want right now, it's when is this going to change? When are we going to see the next phase of the market? Because right now I'm happy. It's altcoins. We're rallying. There's lots to do. Lots of volatility. Bitcoin's just chilling out, letting everybody else play. I like that. But each day I wake up and I'm like, is this the day that I'm going to wake up and all the alerts on my phone are going to be off? It'll be everything's below or everything's above, right? And that's the volatility really coming back in. So when you see the VPVR fill up like this and form a parabola, you can say that price is finished with the range and is ready to move on. So I've been saying this for weeks in to Nick and I in the lab, we've been talking about, well, we're getting closer. It's just any day now. And that's, but you just don't want to lose sight of opportunity when this is happening. Let me give you an example of that. During a trend, it's very easy. A lot of people will get into the habit of calling tops. They'll say, well, we've come this far. We must be near the top. And then the trend continues. And as you can see, if you did that last spring, you missed out. Obviously, if you did that in 2017, looking back, it seems obviously hindsight's 2020. But this was a very long uptrend, and these were all brand new all-time highs. And you can see at each all-time, each of these highs, you got a big dump, and a lot of people, they're thinking, okay, calling tops, I'm going to put the end of this trend. When in the end, there was a very clear signal. Again, looking back, nothing's easy up front. But at the end, there was a very clear reversal. Right? We got and we've talked about this, I believe it was on the stream last week, or just on a video I did, but we had the higher high in price, the lower high in MACD right here. So your bearish divergence, then we rolled over, we broke structure. And then the squeeze up, perfect sweet spot tap. So riding the trend, taking advantage of what the market gives you. And in this case, we go back, zoom into today. And what Bitcoin's doing right now, it's giving us a range. And not only that, during this range, it's giving us an altcoin market that's been going bananas. So as much as I want to sit and say, we're going to have to visit these levels, because frankly, I just think we may. I'd be leaning towards that we do. If nothing else, then to just protect some capital, because if I'm wrong and we move higher, then hey, we might be into a new uptrend and there's lots of opportunity ahead. If I bet on the uptrend and I'm wrong and we move lower, I'm going to take a much bigger hit. So frankly, for the sake of self-preservation, I am leaning towards the downside, but that's not to say I'm not long right now. I'm just prepared to take a hit when this shift happens. And if that's, a 1K candle, so be it. If it's, $300 candle, we get a nice bearish retest and it's very friendly. Great. Love that. But on this Gann chart, you can see we've moved through this arc. So we had the vibrations from basically this pivot here. This entire Gann fan comes. So Paul J is asking, what effect will Twitter hack have on the price? Initially I thought, it'll be a little catalyst and it'll dump. When I saw CZ Binance get hacked, and then of course everyone's going to say, oh, if his Twitter can get hacked, then then funds aren't safe. They're safeu, right? But at the end of the day, it sounds like a lot of people got hacked. And so it was really more of a Twitter third-party API, and that's actually good news for crypto. Because if the CEO of the biggest exchange gets hacked, that it's silly, arguably. But, that wouldn't really change my faith in their overall. We saw them last year. They got hacked for $40 million, and it was just like, boom, fixed, paid back. Nobody lost anything. So their Twitter gets hacked, and I'm going to think that Bitcoin's bearish. It seems silly. But if that affected price, which for now it doesn't look like it did, that would be, not that shocking given that we're on this precipice. We're at this sort of pivot where, that's what I wanted to talk to Nick about on the stream today is, we're going to get a 300 candle down, 300 candle up. Like the next quick move, let's see, back to the range here. A little scattered here today, guys, with all this audio. It's got me shook up out of my charts, my chart flow. But, it's funny because today somebody said, oh, Bitcoin's looking bearish. Actually, Nick and I were in the lab this morning. He's like, looking bearish. I was like, bro, it's 2 4-hour candles. Like, give me a break. Call me when it breaks range low. And it's this the nature of the market, right? And he's like, yeah, because every time you get two green candles, it's like, we're breaking out, and everyone is just, we're so on edge. It's so hard to sleep. It's, I mean, frankly, I'm sleeping well, but it's hard to sleep in, I should say, because I just want to check my phone. I'm excited because I know one day I'll wake up and it'll probably be overnight on the Euro session, because it seems to be the way things go for the my crypto life. It seems that 2 a.m. Eastern slot, New York is fast asleep, and the Asian close or the Euro open, whatever you want to call it, and we just get the move. So, yeah, I'm excited. Right now, I'm just focused on altcoins because look at this. That's what we were tweeting about last night. I'm excited about this. Let's zoom out real quick so you guys can see what I'm looking at. So, we've got this long downtrend. 919 days today, I think. So January 8th is when we peaked in 2018, and ever since then it's been a downtrend. There's a little uptrend within this, but generally speaking, we have not broken any new highs since putting in this pivot on June 25th last year, basically a year ago. We are right here. And as you can see, poking through doesn't really mean anything. We want to print bullish market structure. High, low, higher high, right? We want to get that on the other side of this trend line, and we're so close. And that doesn't mean it's going to happen. In fact, if anything, this is an area where some, savvy trader who's been long on alts since the spring, right? Because, March 13th, we put in our low. It's got some W's in here. Alts have been at play for months. When you get up to a resistance like this, and you've got Bitcoin looking like this up against its downtrend line, is this a place to be strapping on extra leverage? No. And yet I found myself doing that today. First time in my life I've ever traded on high leverage. It wasn't a big amount. I think I put 50x leverage on an algo long, $100 position, so max risk $100, like whatever. But it's funny that my bullishness has been picking up, and part of my own analysis is self-analysis, spotting little bits of psychology in myself. And one of them is when you'll see people taking the gloves off, like, oh, this is definitely alt season, I'm going to break some of my rules. It's amazing. It's uncanny how often that stuff will happen at the worst times. And so, not to get all bearish, but I must exercise caution, or preach a little bit of caution here. Because look, if we break out of this, if we get what we want from the altcoin breakout here, then there's going to be lots of opportunity. It's not going to be like, oh, I missed it. That's friggin' alt season. Like the real one. The one where, you wake up every day and you have a new Lambo. Oh God, Bill Gates. Okay, word from Nick, our offline correspondent here. Feed me anything you got. Really? Yeah, Nick's starting to think Twitter's been hacked. So Nick is on the side here. This just in from our analyst correspondent in the field. He's on here just looking into the stuff live, so he'll feed me any tidbits. It sounds like maybe it was Twitter that got hacked, he's thinking. I'm sure there's going to be a really good piece to read tomorrow. What do you... Oh, okay. So you're saying I should check my email real quick, make sure that I'm not getting password change notifications. I am not, thank goodness. Maybe everyone just check your email real quick. I feel like it's mostly targeting famous people, let's be honest. Not there yet. So look, this is sort of, and bear in mind, everybody, I'm talking through this as much for you guys as I am for myself, because it's so easy to wake up every day, and we're putting out content on Twitter, we're posting charts, we're looking at other people's charts, and it's all bullish. There's a lot of really good bullish stuff going on. Except for Ren. Ren's the one that I'm actually thinking just structurally looks like it's ready to turn over. But it's neither here nor there. But if this does break through, we're good. Nothing to worry about. Okay, you missed the first impulse, but now we're out of the dark, and we might be headed up to a 382, which to me would be a full move. That's like 2x. So there's tons of opportunity to crank up leverage, get a little more risky, start upping those 1% and 2% trade risks to 2 and 3 and 4, whatever you want. But this is like, I have to tell myself that too. This is not the place. This is a high probability place to top. Sorry. It's true. So with that preface to today, I want to take a look at some altcoins because I am going to play in altcoin town when we're in the risk on phase. I just am. Wait months and years for this kinds of seasonal windows, and when they're here, we've got to trade, right? Traders got to trade. So if you guys have any alts in particular that you're like, hey, I'd really like to know what your thoughts are on this, please let me know in the chat on YouTube. I'll keep glancing back over there frequently. For now, we've got a few that we've been watching, and I want to go over a couple. I mean, again, Bitcoin downtrend, tagged it, have shown zero strength to push through, volumes falling off. Not a time to be strapping on excess risk, especially doing some crazy things like people do sometimes, taking out loans, over leveraging, just not the time. We break out of here, we get into a big trend, still probably don't do that, but at least you'd be like, okay, we're on the right side of the downtrend. As of right now, we're still sadly trending down, even though it feels really good to make this move up. That's the cold hard facts. Not calling tops, not saying we're going to dump, but certainly exercise caution, guys, because big move incoming. Probably not great for all BTC pairs, but let's take a look because there's a few hints to me coming from some other majors that we still are looking really bullish. Link, for example, WTC is one we've been watching, so let's have a quick peek at that. An OG Chinese supply chain coin, and it has broken out and is now retesting. So, there's something to be said for taking some shots. I mean, there's lots of uptrends going on, taking some shots on these retests. You got nice tight invalidations. So that's one I've been watching. Yeah, there goes Bill Gates. Confirmed Bill Gates has been hacked on Twitter. Oh my gosh, this is all happening live. I just want to go look, but I'd rather do some alts with you guys for a bit. So let's see what else I've got on these lists. I haven't looked at OGN in a couple days. Last I saw, I was putting in bullish structure in the trend channel. Yep. Not looking too strong. I mean, again, it's at that kind of point where, okay, going to take that shot, got to be willing to cut it below support, which now is confirmed support. So OGN, let's look at some of the big names. I mean, first of all, Link, what is going on here? Link is just a sicko. We've got the uptrend channel. It broke out, blasted through, retested, and just kept going. Even peaked, and then dropped back down again, and then went again. New highs today. No signs of bearish divergence. I mean, it just keeps picking up steam. So is this parabolic blow off top? Is this super aggressive Bitcoin-like price discovery? Is there some new announcement brewing that is just going to be such a massive thing? Don't know what's going on with Link. I do know it's a big project, and everyone's been really bullish on it. The Link Marines are no joke. So let's talk about tops. I don't think you need to call tops. I think you can let the chart, if you know what you're looking for, you can let the chart tell you when it's ready. And you will miss some price, because especially if it's a blow off top at the end. Parabolic blow off top, you're going to miss that sort of super high, but at least you have a higher probability that you're getting out, during the direction change instead of necessarily missing a whole other leg, right? So there's lots of risk on both sides. So let me see, going back to Bitcoin, let's look at ultimately what a top looks like. Because this one, I just go back to it a few times a week because it's just picture perfect. What I look for when I'm trying to short something that's been in a big, strong uptrend. I mean, this is Bitcoin looking a whole lot like Link does right now, moving straight up. So Link could do this tomorrow, right? Which was Bitcoin in December 7th, right? This is when the futures launched. Well, actually, they launched on the 17th at the actual top. But just leading up to that on December 7th, December 7th was when Ethereum BTC bottomed. So this was like the very bottom before the big face rip finish. I still remember that day. It's December 7th. You'll see on ETH BTC, it just was looking so ugly, and alts were dumping because Bitcoin was going up. And then this is when the alt rally to kind of finish the top. So when you're looking for a top, you got to get that structure, bearish divergence. I mean, they usually take a little time. And I don't see any reason why that would be different with Link. So all of Apple's tweets? Oh my God. So Nick has just confirmed that all of Apple's tweets have just been deleted. The entire page has been destroyed. There's just pandemonium going on right now. All right, good. Paul's asking for AMB, TNT, and SC. Let's take a look at those. So, I mean, yeah, TLDR on Link. If you're in, enjoy the ride. I personally, it's hard. Sometimes you wake up pay yourself a little. If you're trading it and you're like, oh, I'm up so much, this is ridiculous, I'd hate to lose that. Sure, you can pay yourself. There's no shame, and definitely the harder thing to do in trading is to take a little profit. Because everywhere you look, right, everyone's saying more, moon. People are buying, right? That's obviously because it's going up. But, it's okay to pay yourself. But personally, if I was in this, I'm not. I would be just waiting patiently for a top to come in, and that could take weeks. Like even yesterday, for example, shot up, crashed down. What is that? That was a 15% drop from its peak, and now it's at new highs. So there's really just nothing here that says I'm ready to stop going up just yet. Momentum. So eyes on Link. Very exciting. I know Nick's got some insight on XTZ, but we may have to relay that through me a little later. For now, let's flip over to a couple that Paul mentioned. Actually, real quick, Paul, last time we were on here together, you brought up this. I just want to pull it up. This was not the risk reward that I had set. This is at 1-to-1 that just got reset. But we were talking about this setup as far as like a little lady, double it up here, sell half a position, have a free one for life. Hasn't really moved yet, but that is sort of the nature of some of these. But this was a nice setup. I just wanted to check in on that, Paul, because I know we talked about that the other day. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, happy to share my opinion for what it's worth on those. Nick said he's already got some of these. He just wants to know what I think. I'll be honest with you guys. I bought some Ambrosis as well, actually. I had a bid down at 146, and I can explain why. First, though, this is a naked chart, which I wanted to start with, because look at this volume. It's so ridiculous. This is why I'm interested in AM, plain and simple. Ambrosis, it was supply chain, so it's definitely, potential chaser for VET, for VET. But, look at this volume. What is going on? I bet relative volume back then didn't look as bad, right? When you knock out those big bars, okay, yeah, we had some decent big volume bars. But when you compare it to today, it's all relative, right? And they shrink. It's like nothing. Who's buying down here? They're buying, presumably, huge amounts of this, unless it's like just this crazy wash trading campaign, which could be, I guess. I don't know. But it's unique. And there's only one other chart that I can think of that has this kind of influx, and it's Aeon. Huge spike of volume down here. Really good sign. And for comparison's sake, I don't know why I picked this one, but let's just see. BNB, is there any massive amounts of volume pouring in? Nah, not really. Again, off the top of my head. Okay, BLZ's got some coming in. Definitely some big volume coming in. That's cool. Blue Zell just blew up the other day. But you can see, you don't see that kind of volume on all of them. This is some for sure. Definitely, like we've been bullish, but it's Ambrosis is a particular beast of its own. Vet's definitely had some volume coming in. But let's go back to AMB on my marked up chart, because I actually do have a position on it. We can talk a little bit about why I picked 146. So bullish divergence on the daily helps give us an indication we might be heading to a bottom. Bullish market structure confirms, because we put in our low, but then we put in a high, then a higher low, and then we made a higher high. That's why this is the break of market structure. So we're going up to make a higher high, and that just tells you that the trend may be changing, or technically just did change, but it may stay changed is obviously what we want. So we have lows, high, lower low, lower high, low, right? And ultimately the trend never reversed. This to me looks like a higher probability trend reversal, so I'm interested. OBV is trending up really nicely. And if you zoom in here to find location, obviously I could wait for this level to come in, which frankly I often would in like years past, because these kind of rallies just seem to never last, and this one still might draw down to here. I'll get stopped out and I'll have to re-enter or hunt for a new setup. But for now we got this breakout, really nice, and then you can just set so you can get 618. I missed this 618. I didn't really have this on my radar when that came in, but we got some new structure here, arguably down here, where you get your low, high, higher low, breakout. And so taking from this low to this high, I want to get in on that sweet spot, which is 144, and I actually just front ran it a bit, so 146. And at this exact moment, that marks one sat from the bottom of this little retrace. So I'm ready to go. Happy to take off here. Paul said, yeah, singles, same big volume in SC. Yeah, let's go take a look. So that's my thoughts on Ambrosis. I just love that kind of volume, but the other thing you have to remember is that that's like a weekly. So you could see that volume come in. Actually on Ambrosis, let's take a look real quick, just so we're very clear. The Ambrosis volume actually came in before a big drop as well. I remember because we were trading it last year when it happened, and we caught our bags, thankfully. So the volume really started here. You could say that was the first significant uptick in volume. And it almost looked like, okay, either that's the public or that's like pump and dump. Let's rally the price so I can dump my bags, because we lost that low. That was like 1,300 sats. That was like a big drop. And I remember very distinctly right around here, there was some BS going on with Vet and their Ambrosis and their CEO, and it was all drama. And so when this level breaks, and this is why I love TA, I mean, just staring at the number on a chart, you would have no idea that this significant structure break happened. And once this happened, it was all bets are off. We're going to go to new lows, and there's no saying how far down they'll be. Why not cut at any particular amount of loss and just wait? Wait for the price go up. Wait for indications that it might be reversing, right? So I did cut my bag there reluctantly, took a little hit, and managed to save myself, even at today's price, like an 87% drawdown. God, that's painful. So, try to learn this stuff, because you can spot these things a mile away sometimes, and it just, just like going the other way too, right? You get a bullish market structure breakout, and then you look back, you're like, man, that really painted the picture. Wish I longed there. So yeah, but just keep in mind, that volume started coming in before an 87% drawdown. So seeing this volume come in does not guarantee it goes up. It could be, whales accumulating, and it still could be 2 years before we see the big upside, but they don't mind. So keep that in mind. It's time agnostic. Now look, yeah, so SC's got huge volume coming in. I mean, this is why I'm excited about alts right now, just because we're seeing these large influxes in volume. And actually the volume scan that I did that, originally was actually back in April. So some of these, this is the first time I'm like, oh man, there's actually volume all over the place right now. I did a big old volume scan back in April, and it was only a handful that were showing it early, like Aeon and Ambrosis and all that. So yeah, SC, I had a box here drawn up, as you can see, did not get tagged. Didn't have bids working. I just had alerts, and I wanted to take a closer look at that point. I think I'm a little surprised that it didn't take down this trend line on the second attempt. That's pretty weak, in my opinion. Although look at the volume on that move up. So to get smacked down by that trend line for really a third time after, because, right, you have, I mean, if you're doing a low high, this is what you get. If you were, drawing it off of the actual highs, then technically this is the second and third tap. And as a one good friend of mine, Jack Sparrow, always says, never trust the fourth. Trend lines tend to get weaker with tests, not stronger. But this didn't even get there. I've been using this low high because it fits and because I drew it up before this happened. And then it respected it. So, but yeah, what a dip. Didn't quite hit my box. In this kind of a market, that's why I created this recently. You get the pump chaser. It's a little bit more aggressive as a location tool. Because a lot of times in a big, strong pump, you look back and it never really gave you a 618. It only gives you 3.5s or 3.8s and 5s. XSP trying to break weekly resistance. Where is XSP trading that it has weekly resistance? That's what I don't get. And then we'll get back to TNT, because I also actually had a position in that at one point, but I cut it because it just seemed like it needed a long time to shake it, and I didn't really want to wait. I am a patient guy, but not when things are moving, and TNT was... Well, I'll explain in a sec. There's a particular reason. Oh, just getting quick word that Uber has now been hacked on Twitter. Okay, Nick, what's the latest? You've been sitting there clicking away. Did you find anything? Okay, so Nick's caught word of a rumor going around that an employee at Twitter perhaps was compromised, and it was through their access that all of this happened. That would make sense. Yeah, I mean, ultimately we're going to have to wait for the after report, and tomorrow there'll probably be some detailed news. Okay, so that's why Swipe was on KuCoin. So we do have some old charts. Good shout, because... Whoa. Why do I have this on here? Was I trying to... Oh. Do you guys ever do this? Where you just pull up an old chart and you're like, oh man, I had this long on here that I'm not in, and it just smacked. Oh, sad face. Apparently I was charting Swipe. It would have had to have been after this. So, wow. July? I don't know. When did I do that? I haven't looked at the KuCoin chart. I didn't even know it was on KuCoin at this moment. So, the mystery. But apparently someone likes this chart on this account. When did I make that? I don't know. Either way, tag the sweet spot like an absolute beauty, and is probably going to hit that take profit that nobody's in. Yay. Let's take a look at the resistance here, guys. Yeah, we are at big weekly resistance. Good eye. Well, actually, weekly is a little higher. That was daily resistance. I'd like to go with candle body closes for resistance, and I'd probably guesstimate that in that. That's a pretty big range, though. It's like a 10% range, but let's see what that looks like back on the daily. Yeah. So it's kind of more up in this little consolidation area. So it's really how you want to draw up your resistances. Candle body lows typically instead of wicks for me. Just gives you a slightly stronger signal. I mean, it goes without saying, this is not a place, no matter how much I think Swipe's going to be the next big thing, I just can't buy that as a trader. As an investor who's like absolutely going to commit to putting in, a small amount and then walking away for 5 years or whatever, sure, whatever. This whole range is probably fine for that, because if it's going to be big, it'll be huge. But as a trader who's going to be looking at this price over the next months, like, that's just not, where's your invalidation, right? Sign up here for a 51% drawdown and a potential gain of 62%. Like, it's just not good R. But that's not what you asked. You just wanted to know about the resistance, so let's take a look. Just want to be aware. I always get paranoid when I'm talking on here that somebody might hear it and buy something, which makes me uncomfortable. So don't do that. All right. So, I mean, setup came in. Let's pull up a few. Oh, okay. I'm on the wrong. I was on a copy of this chart. Yeah. So let's pull this up, guys, because there was a really nice setup here. I mean, this is coming in all over the market. It's very easy looking back after a rally to find these and say, oh, I wish I saw that. But I mean, let's see. We've got, I bet we had divergence working. Yeah, same little mini divergence that came in across so many alts. Bing. Bing. Yeah. And then broke out of stupid. Confirm little bullish market structure. So that's like, okay, maybe this is our bottom. And then if you're patient and you're just parking little nibbles, as we call them. Yeah. Okay. Looking at the USD chart. Okay. So real quick, basically, you know, if you just wanted to park a little trade here, you had to wait since May. Not that long, if you think about it. Another way to do it is to wait for the breakout right here. Okay. Oops, got away. Doesn't matter. Comes back right into that sweet spot. And that's why I call it that, because it is so sweet. Sure enough, this one again. So any longs off here, maybe stopping at the pivot. And that's actually what was drawn up on the chart before we got here. Weirdly. I don't know why that was there. I don't recall taking that setup or even writing it up, but there you go. So there, I mean, sick setup. If you're looking to double, get a free position, sell half on a double. But you know, even if you were taking it to hold resistance, you're actually out of the trade now, and that was a really nice 3-to-1. But let's take a quick peek at USDT. Probably looking a little similar. Yeah, same kind of thing. Smack it into resistance. Actually, we smacked that resistance the first time. Now we're pushing through. This is more bullish. Second attempt, you know, if we were just like a flash in the pan, then, you know, you wouldn't think you'd come right back up here, but we did. And we smacked it again and closed, and now we're pushing still. So, I mean, this thing is really bullish. I can't speak to the project. I just know it's like a swipe. It's a debit card, crypto card of some kind, and it's, you know, it's a Binance one, and then probably going to be pretty big. I think the market cap, if I'm not mistaken, is still, what is it? SXP, 55 mil. So it's not crazy big considering Binance's 2.2 billion. I mean, it's got room to the upside, but don't mistake that for this being like a good place, you know, where I'm like, oh, now I want to buy. It's often the case, right? You find out about something is super bullish and undervalued and blah, blah, blah. And then it's like you look at the chart and you're late. It's okay to be late. Just, you know, be tactful. So if I'm dying to get a piece of this, you know, there's a setup there, but then you have a new invalidation. Right now, my invalidation on this, if I'm long, to know that I'm wrong, I mean, it's way down here. I don't like that. So you guys will hear me say that stuff all the time. Just brutal. It's like 40% haircut. No. You could have that same, you know, you could do that, but then the size of your position is so tiny because you're putting such a huge risk on it. So there's something to be said for now that we're back in here, right? We had the resistance, support, support, support. So once we flip this level, you've got a reason to know you're wrong up here. And I would still wait for a little more. I'm not just going to, you know, poke your head through and take it. But, you know, once you just say you're long and just write whatever, you know, you can get pretty tight there. Might get wicked, might double barrel it, try again. But obviously your RR goes way up when you can find that higher invalidation. So I hope that helps, Crypto Kid, if that makes sense a little bit. Those are my thoughts on it. I think it's at sort of a tricky spot at this exact moment, because it just blasted resistance. But hey, if it's going to be strong and sit up here, I would be highly shocked. I would be very shocked if it doesn't come and test this level at some point. And when it does, that's going to be a nice tight location. Because, you know, look at all the action this level is getting. We're going to just abandon it forever? No. I doubt it. And then, you know, if you miss it, okay. There's 1,000 other crypto projects. It's good not to get married to them. It makes it a lot easier to trade properly. Okay, TNT. How's our time? Okay, yeah, we're just over the 5 with a slightly delayed start. So I'm happy to keep going. What's the latest, Nick? What do you see? You got any juice over there? If anything happens or you find a chart that you're like, hey, look at this level at that, let me know. I will relay it. Otherwise, we are going to dive into TNT. It's actually, is that bullish? Is it bullish that every single major exchange account just got hacked on Twitter and it hasn't dumped? Is that hopium? God, could you imagine? So Nick just thought of a really interesting point. Frankly, I'm just like, okay, I'm impressed that that coordinated Twitter thing just went down and it was targeting, Bitcoin. I'm assuming all the hacks were somewhat related to Bitcoin. And Nick says, actually, they failed because with that kind of access to that many Twitters and that much reach, and I mean, you brought this, you just thought this up, I assume, in the last little bit. Like, think of what you could do to stock prices and where Bitcoin is right now, what you could have done to Bitcoin price. Imagine instead of saying like, hey, we're giving away 5,000 Bitcoin, from the Coinbase account, from the Binance account, Gemini, like he had, whoever this is, he, she, they all had so many. It's probably a group, it seems like. So many, like so much access. What if they said, oh no, we got hacked, we lost everything, customers' accounts, like this and that, like put on a massive short position and then use the Twitter for that. I mean, I'm not saying I would advocate for that, but God, that would have made you a lot more money than these little trickling Bitcoin things. It's not even, yeah. So good point, Nick. In some ways, they really botched that one. Tesla stock soaring. Load up on puts and then tweet out that something, surely there was a more... Kanye West is in the party now. He got hacked. Okay. So whoever this hacker is, it's a weird, send me your gold bullion and I will, fairly see through. Maybe not the most optimal way. Or maybe it's all just a smoke screen and there's something else going on. I don't know. Always something crazy in crypto. This seems to have reached outside of crypto now. Don't tell me they got Kanye. All right. TNT, I mean... I don't know who exited this one, but they did it in a hurry and they took no prisoners and we swept this low. And I longed TNT because it was on my short list, and then it took off. And so after this, and then I was like, for a week, I was like, nah, I don't want it because it's crazy. It looks so sketchy and not natural and I don't trust it. And then I thought, okay, it's sitting on the 886. I wanted it up here. Fundamentally, from the very little research I did, nothing really had changed. This was just, I don't even know if anyone knows what the explanation was there, Paul. I don't know if you or anybody else looked into that. I honestly didn't. It's just more of a technical play for me. I just told myself, okay, buy some because it's on the 886. And often when I look back and I see 886 tags, they age well. And then right about here, like 2 weeks later, I just thought, you know what? It's friggin' alt time. Things are going nuts. We've got way more edge working with other pairs because of, Nick and I and a few guys sitting in the lab all day talking. Like, there's just so much movement. So it's not about chasing highs, but there was definitely just things that look more ready to go. So I got out of TNT, basically at break even, within $3. Like, it was almost to a T, and I was like, whatever, I'm out. I can, and hey, if this thing wants to show some life, right? Jeff Bezos? Okay. Why is Twitter not just shutting down Twitter right now? So Jeff Bezos just joined the party of hacked people. That's wild. 10 Bitcoin total that Nick is tracking. Sorry, you said Twitter had made a comment. Did they say anything? They haven't. Wow. So Twitter has yet to acknowledge that this is going on. Let's check Twitter stock price. I'm just curious. Is it dumping? Yeah. Down 2%, Nick says. Let's just pull it up. I can just do it on this one. What's the tag for that? Twitter. Yeah, there we go. What? This doesn't look like it's down at all. It's a daily. Oh, after hours. I'm such a noob. I don't trade the stocks. Can you guys tell? What do you look it up on after hours? I'm like, And can I just rant for a second? I'm like, what the hell is after hours? Oh, the market's closed. No, just kidding. We can trade it. You can't. And when it opens, there's going to be a huge gap, and then you can close underwater. Like, don't even get me started. I don't trade stocks, not because I never would. It's just I got into crypto, and then it's what I focus on. But I've always just hear things like after hours, pre-market, and I just cringe. I'm like, wait a sec. If I can't do everything that everyone else can do, then that's just twisted. But you cope and you deal, and I guess everyone just accepts it because it's the biggest casino in the world, and everyone wants to play. You get what you get, and you don't get upset. But yeah, after hours. I mean, if I ever do move into stocks, I'll be figuring out how the heck you get access to that, and I'll be part of it because that's some bullshit, if you ask me. What am I even looking at? I'm just randomly charting Twitter while I rant. Bullish breakout on the 1 hour. Okay. Anything else you guys want to see today? I've got a little short list. I just want to, a couple check-ins. I'd like to do things to watch. Well, actually, I'll set this alert now. I thought I set it yesterday, but I don't see it on here. What? I thought this... Okay. Well, we want to see a higher high. So we've got high, low, lower high, higher low, lower high. So we are consolidating here. So I guess if I really want to have an alert set, I'm going to have to put it here. And, what do you do when this alert fires? Well, nothing, but it just would have definitely helped my bullish bias. So 98. Yeah, yesterday, this is weird. I swear this changed since yesterday. Can't prove that, but okay, maybe I can. I'm actually flabbergasted. Okay. Let's check Twitter, because I swear yesterday there was a different high that we had to break, and I had it marked. Let's take a look. Yeah, what the heck? I swear these charts just change overnight. You guys see this? Well, I'm not crazy. See, it was a lower high, then a higher high, so I'm not crazy. With today and the audio, and I was just like, you know what, maybe it's just I'm flustered, but no. That's bullshit. What the hell's going on there? This is not the same chart. What is happening? Somebody on YouTube, tell me what's going on. Is there some planetary thing? These charts are sketchy in general. I'll give you another example. I actually have a secret black line on here. You can see it here. I had to block this thing because look, well, it's not even there now. Okay. Well, yesterday. Okay, so this, let me just give you some context because now I do sound crazy. Okay, see, no, okay, it's up here. There's another one here. So you see this wick? It's got to be an anomaly, right? It's not like some massive amount of dominance changed in the market for that split second that day. And so I call it an anomaly, and I've covered it up because it's just not important and it kind of messes up the chart. And there was another one down here that appeared after the candle had printed. So when I first had this up, I move this down each day if it goes down. And then the wick appeared. And then yesterday I was looking at it like, wow, that's crazy wick. And then, okay, one sec. Got Nick telling me each time a new guy gets hacked. Mike Bloomberg. Oh, Mike Bloomberg. That Google? I thought so. I thought you said Google. I was like, wait a sec. Bloomberg runs Google? Okay. So this wick was here, and now it's gone. So, yeah, the data on these tickers does change. I knew that already, but this is annoying because it just raised our bar for what we need to get our breakout. It's a scam. But let's check that alert. What is it? 98.10 billion. I want to know when that happens. Regardless of what it means, 98.01 billion. And I'll put breakout question mark, sort of saying, come here. Oh, Reason behind this, calculation symbols may return different results when using historical and real-time data. Yeah, see, okay, so at least they know. It's a weird ticker. This ticker's got issues, but anyways, that's slightly disappointing. We did make a higher high. We were on our way. Now we're just consolidating. Is that bearish? Is it bullish? I don't know. So yeah, TNT, not going too far. Let's pick through a couple others. Bread token, how's it doing? Hasn't really moved. Same thing though when you're looking at volume. It's hard to see there. Oh. Hard to see there, but like nothing. Buyers kind of taking their shots, and then whoa, what happened here? Somebody's suddenly getting very interested. Therefore, I am getting very interested. And it was at the end of a really nice long trend after the weirdest, I remember this when it happened about last September, the strangest little stair step. Like that's the most unnatural looking thing ever. I mean, it looks even weirder up close, as weird things do. We had the market structure breakout, and then it was just like no news, no nothing, no hype, no excitement, no volume really. And then it just went boom, right back to the low. So whatever the hell that was, not natural. No comment on what it might have been, but it was weird. But yeah, nice long downtrend, bullish divergence, bullish market structure, volume, all the things a growing boy needs for Allegheny. So let's see how that works. I do have a little long position. I wish it was off the sweet spot. I talk about them all the time. I look at them all the time. I don't always set bids on them. Someday I'll put my money where my mouth is, but I'm in long from the sort of 12s, sitting around break even. UBT, oh, how could I forget UBT? Where's my chart? There it is. Bring it over. Check this thing out. Exciting. Exciting because we were looking at it here. Same kind of thing, right? Break up off support. Check that retrace. Not buying here, although arguably you had your structure here. That wick kind of concerned me, so I wanted to wait for the larger structure because it's a big play. Nothing's going to get away from me just for waiting on that. I mean, still, multi-hundreds % potential. If, based on how clean this fib extension came in, I figured, okay, my next target would be the next fib extension. And we got the breakout this week and smashed right through this resistance like butter. And now we just come into the second resistance. So not surprised to see a cool down. This actually now should be considered support. So let's flip that visually so it's nice and clean. So let's see. Perfect world, we would be like this. Some kind of retest and go, or retest, shake around, go. And that's good news because, really a patient trader might not even be long yet. This didn't really give a lot of opportunities for entry. It kind of just broke through. Now remember, this is just a calculation on USD. So for the real chart, you got to look here. And so this was actually me. Where did I get in? 38. So not the perfect retrace, basically at the breakout level. But there was a... Oh, okay. Nick says the money is on the move. Hackers. Okay, so 10 seconds ago, the hackers have been starting to move the Bitcoin that was taken from, technically it was given to them by people on Twitter. They tricked them. They didn't steal it from them, but they tricked them and scammed them into giving it away themselves. The ultimate fraud. And it's scary. I actually was a victim of a certain fraud. I guess this is well before my crypto days, probably before the invention of Bitcoin, actually. This would be like 2008. I bought a DSLR camera off of sort of a, I don't even know, person, basically. And so they were in a rush, of course, and I was selling the camera. And then, I got an email saying that a payment had arrived in my, InstaDebit or something. God, I can't believe I used to use InstaDebit. And so I got an email confirming payment and all this and saying, money's in your account and everything. And I was young. I was probably 20, 21 at the time. Anyways, I sent the camera on, like, of course, next day delivery, because why wouldn't they be in a rush to get away with that? And then something happened. I didn't really see the money come in the way I thought I had in the email and everything. So I called the company and they're like, "Sorry, sir, we have no record of you being paid anything." I was like, this was like $500 at the time, but oh my gosh, that's a lot when you're in university. So thankfully, even though it was next day delivery, the mail people on the other side were able to cut off the box. The point I'm trying to make here is the scary thing is that when I called the local police down there, that's what they said to do. They said, just call, the people down there and say, like, there's a fraudster living at this address. And they said, look, sorry, sir, there's nothing we can do. You sent it to them. So they didn't steal it. You're just an idiot. That's basically the TLDR. There's no recourse. It's like, so it's not illegal to, make consistent gains in money and steal stuff. They said, not really. Even if it was, there's not much you can do, because they'll go to court and be like, no, he agreed to send it to me. It's like, oh. Anyways, heart goes out to those people who got scammed today. I don't think that that's good. It's bad for the space, but just friendly reminder, nothing's free. And so if anyone ever says they're going to give you something for free, run. Don't be nice to them. They're scamming you. Sadly, that's the kind of attitude you have to have in this space. Maybe we could have an episode talking about times we got scammed. I just had mine, sharing circle. It was a camera. Full disclosure, I once got scammed out of 20 Neo tokens, which at the time was worth something. It was during an ICO. It's a long story, but basically there was a fake website. There was a gas war going on. And the worst part is I was in the pre-sale. I already had some. At the very last minute during the pre-sale, I was like, screw it. I'm going to go get some more. It was a 10 Neo cap. I think they were trading at like a couple $100 at the time. So I sent in 150 at the time. And I sent in the 10 Neo. And it was not to the ICO. I sent them to a hacker's address. It was very late. I was in a rush. That's how they get you. It's the only time I've ever been outright sort of scammed in crypto. And it was an important lesson to learn. XTZ. I do have a chart on that. Let's pull it up. Oh, clean. Oh, yeah. Nick will be excited about this. Nick's been... You still in that trade there, Nick? XTZ? No. Okay. Actually, yeah, okay. So we had this chart on XTZ the other day when Link broke out. I'm learning this. I didn't know this, but Link